Hi everybody, I hope everybody's keeping safe. What I'm going to start doing is on my channel, I'm going to start doing some bite-sized sessions. These are just going to be little up to 5 minutes introductions to various technologies that I teach. And I'm going to start off with networking. We're going to start off with introduction to the OSI 7-layer model. For anybody out there that's wondering why, all of the networking courses that I cover, we talk about the OSI 7-layer model. And anybody who does any exams on networking, you are expected to know the 7 components that go to make up the 7-layer model, and I thought I'd do this quick little bite size just to introduce that. So to start off, we're going to just have a look at what is a network, because OSI's 7-layer model is to do with networking. Then we'll have a look at why do we have it, and then finally what we'll say, or what we'll have a look at, is we'll just see the 7 layers of the 7-layer network model. And then in subsequent videos, what I'll do is I will explain each of the 7 layers in a little bit more depth, just for anybody that may be doing any of the networking exams for any of the software vendors. So we'll start off with the first bit, and the first bit we're going to start off with is what is a network. And a network is 2 or more computers connected together. And these 2 or more devices connected together may be communicating together for, if anybody does a lot of online gaming perhaps, or maybe you're at work and you're communicating with various services on your work network. They share some form of transmission medium, and the transmission medium is the thing that takes the ones and zeros that we send between the devices and allows them to be passed across either wired networks where we physically have cables, or wireless. And anybody that has any type of mobile device is probably already aware of wireless networks. In a network we have computers, and these computers, we generally call these computers nodes or hosts. So if I talk about nodes or hosts, it's the same thing. These devices communicate with each other, and what we have is we have servers, and servers provide services. So that could be your email service, could be your web service, could be your media streaming service. We then have a client, and the client consumes these services. So that could be your laptop, could be your desktop, could again be your tablet device. The types of networks that we generally have, and this is breaking it down into a couple of different components. We have more types of networks, but these are the 2 that we generally use. So we have a local area network. Think of that like what you have in your house. So you have devices connected together within the house. It might be your smart TV. Again, it could be your desktop PC. Again, it could be your gaming device. And these are connected together with some form of local high-speed connectivity. Again, whether that be wired or wireless. We also have wide area networks. So if you're on the internet, you are connected to a wide area network. These are devices in different geographic locations, but they share a link. And generally we use telecommunications providers to provide that network communication. So in the UK, we're going to be looking at maybe BT as a company, or maybe Virgin Media, but there are others out there as well. Why OSI then? Why open standards? Why do we need this? I started working in IT in 1986, and when I started working in IT in 1986, there was many different types of network vendors out there. So the first company I went to work for, where I was supporting networks, is we had IBM networks, and they all talked to each other. We had ICL networks, and they all talked to each other. And we had DEC networks, and they all talked to each other. But they didn't talk to each other, as in IBM did not talk to ICL, ICL did not talk to DEC. And that was because these legacy vendors had their own standards. So this made connecting these systems very complex or impossible. So what we needed is we needed a common reference model that allowed the vendors to create systems that could interconnect. What we got the open standard 7-layer network model. And this was a common reference model that allowed all hardwares, operating systems and applications to communicate with each other. The model therefore allows devices and protocols working at each layer of the 7 layers to communicate with each other, to allow these hosts or these nodes to communicate with each other. And for anybody that ever does any networking exam, you will be asked what are the 7 layers of the 7-layer network model. And they are as such. So we start at the bottom, and we start with the physical layer. And I'm saying we're starting at the bottom because that is layer 1. So the physical layer is number 1. Then at layer 2 we have the data link layer. Then at layer 3 we have our network layer. Layer 4 we have our transport layer. Layer 5 we have our session layer. Layer 6 is presentation. And layer 7 is application. Now what we'll talk about in later videos is we'll talk about how all these layers communicate with each other. But as you can see, on my slide here, I'm just going to move my mouse across so you can see this. I have an arrow on the left hand side that comes down. So when you do something in one of your networking applications, what will happen is that network application will pass the data across the network to your server. So the data works its way down from layer 7 down to layer 1. It then works its way across the cable or the wireless, and when it gets to the other end, it works back up from layer 1 back up to layer 7. And the way that we normally teach people to remember the 7 layers is we tell them to memorize the following mnemonic. So all people seem to need data processing. And what we're doing is we're starting at layer 7 and we're working our way down to layer 1. Now I hope this has been useful. I will be producing some more bite-sized videos. I'm doing this primarily to help people in my classes so they have something to reference, but hopefully it's helpful for people that don't sit on any of my classes and you just have a passing interest in networking. So thank you very much for your time, stay safe, and thank you for watching.